Bobby writes, I lost my XP computer's password. What's the easiest way to crack it? Short answer, rainbow tables.
Because I lose my password all the time.
Long answer, roll
Check
the
this
footage.
Before we start, we should probably explain
How
Windows stores the password. So you've got an operating system and you have a password. That operating system has to store it somewhere in order to be able to authenticate when you try to log in. So it stores it in what's called a hash value. Basically, there's a mathematical algorithm that your password is run through, and it creates a jarbled.
Looks like garbage.
It looks like garbage. It really does. It looks like.
It looks exactly like
4,
this.
5, lowercase f, h, 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, it stores it into a bunch of junk, and it uses what's called a one-way hash to recursively, authenticate that. Not recursively. It uses it to be able to authenticate your password. Now, that hash has to be stored somewhere on your computer.
In Windows, it's stored in the SAM.
The sam.ini file, which the location.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the screen.
It's been a while since I've done this.
It's
right
somewhere
here?
down there.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, assuming that you don't have access to your computer, right? We're gonna go ahead and assume that you don't have access to your computer.
Yeah.
Then it's very hard for you to log in and run some of the programs that are used to extract your hash. For example, pwdump is a great one.
Yeah.
Pwdump can be used if you have administrator access to your computer to extract all the hashes for the user accounts on that computer.
And I've gone ahead and run that right here, and we can take a look. We see the hashes, and you notice this colon here, and that's because these passwords are split in two. Now it's using what's called DES, and that's the one-way hash that's going to use
It's a block cipher.
To create a hash of 2 7-character passwords.
Right.
So whatever your say like you got a 10-character password.
Right.
It's going to split that into a 7-character hash
And a 3
3-character
with
hash
null
and
values.
null values.
So
And that's for backwards compatibility because the LM hash is there for Windows 95, 98, and ME.
Exactly.
But we've moved on to 2000 and XP, but we're still retaining that LM hash for backwards compatibility.
Yeah,
Notice that works.
Unfortunately, if your password is less than 15 characters, that's 14 characters or less, there will be a LAN manager hash value stored for that password.
And that's a great exploit. That's a great vector for breaking into your own system.
In the event that you need to break into your own system, yeah, of course.
Air masks will fall from the ceiling.
Yeah. So, what happens is, like Darren said, you have a 14-character password at the most. It's split into 2 7-character passwords, which is much easier to compute than a full 14-character password.
Now, we could go and use something like a brute force attack and do like a dictionary attack or brute force, compute some passwords.
That was the old school way of doing it, like dictionary attacks, like all that sort of thing. But brute force attacks take an incredible amount of processing power, and oftentimes the only successful brute force attacks are on very weak passwords. Passwords that are used in a word, by a word that can be found in the dictionary, or a science fiction novel
1, 2, 3,
or
4,
something.
5 could be easily brute force.
Right.
And we don't all have access to the Earth simulator or other supercomputers. so some awesome people have pre-computed those for us.
Exactly. There was his name. I know I'm going to butcher it. I apologize ahead of time. I think it's Philippe Auchelin, something like that. He wrote a paper called faster time memory trade-off to cracking hashes. And what he's basically doing is instead of doing a brute force attack, you're pre-computing all the possible hash outputs and their corresponding password values. So you have an enormous amount of...
Now, how big would this be? Say like we're just talking about cracking alphanumeric, lowercase, uppercase numeric, and ASCII symbols.
Right. You can go up to 40, 60, 100 gigabytes. And,
wow.
Right. So you definitely want to have...
And those are called rainbow tables.
Rainbow tables, yep. And there was a man who developed a program called Rainbow Crack, which you can use to generate your rainbow tables. Of course, you don't want to do this unless you have a supercomputer.
Supercomputers.
Instead of generating your own tables, it's probably just faster to
BitTorrent them yourself.
BitTorrent. And, as a matter of fact, the SMU group released set lots of different types of torrents for different types of hashes. One of which being the LAN manager hash, and I think it's somewhere around 40 gigabytes.
Okay.
So if you want to download,
And the LAN
LAN
manager hash is the one that we're going to be attacking right now, because that is the one that Bobby's been having the problem with.
Right.
So let's go ahead and talk about some of the tools that we can use. We've already talked about pwdump2, and that's a great way to find out our hash. So what other tools are available to go ahead and crack that password once we have the hash?
Right. Well, you're either going to have access to Rainbow tables, which you can download, or there are several online sources that you can refer to.
Right. You like with this one in particular. What
This is my favorite. It's called plaintext.info. It's actually plain, PLAIN hyphen text TXT.info.
Now, what's the site all about?
Basically, it's a site that you can simply access in your web browser, submit a hash, and in a set amount of time, depending on the waiting time. Oftentimes, this site is very backed up, and you're going to have like a day or two waiting for it to crack your hash. But you can simply enter a LAN manager hash, and it will crack it. So
how long does that take?
Well, it depends. Like I said, it depends upon the amount of traffic that this website is getting. Now, you're assuming that the website is not, experiencing a high traffic load, then you can get your hash back rather quickly.
Right. Now, we also talked about another site in particular that we just had an interview with, and that is Rainbow Crack Online.
Yep.
And this group offers a service where they will crack whatever password you throw at it for a fee.
Right, and it's significantly faster. Unfortunately, there's a subscription fee that you have to pay per month, and I really don't see, if it works for him, great. I don't see the point in paying for something that.
I think you're paying for convenience.
free.
It's also integrated with Cain and Abel. So
yeah.
if your time, you got to
that's
ask,
true.
what's your
That's true.
time worth?
Yep.
If I'm a security analyst and
Yep.
I'm getting paid by the hour by some client anyway, whatever.
Well, if you're getting paid by the hour by some client, you probably have a spare hard drive to download the tables
That's
yourself.
true as well.
But okay.
So one of the other ones that I also like is if you're looking for a quick and easy way to do this, is this great Linux live CD called OffCrack Live CD. Or I'm sorry, OffLav, OPH Crack. And
Okay.
this is a great Linux live CD. They've both got a CD and a DVD Linux live distros where you boot them up and they go right into using Rainbow Crack. They've got the Rainbow tables stored right on them, and they will go ahead and start cracking your Windows passwords.
It's actually a good thing that you mentioned the whole live CD thing, because like Bobby mentioned before, he's locked out of his own computer.
So this would be a great way for him to find out his password.
Assuming he's logged out of his computer, there's no way for him to really log into his computer and send us an email with a
Right.
question.
Well, he did it at a cyber cafe,
okay.
I'm sure.
So yeah, you
go down to your friend's house, go to offcrack.sourceforge.net, and then try the live CD, and then just boot off of that. And what it'll do is start immediately, right when you boot it, start cracking your Windows LM hashes. And the CD version has like a 400 some megabyte Rainbow table, which has got like lowercase,
a certain amount of
and like numbers,
weak passwords.
a few symbols. It was able to crack some of my weaker ones pretty instantly.
Now, if you have a stronger password, though, a good solution would be to boot off of something like Knoppix. Knoppix is my favorite because it automatically boots or loads
Mounts
your
the
partition, your
partitions?
Windows partition for your hard drive, and so you can boot into Knoppix, open that partition, and navigate to the directory.
That's at the bottom of the screen. That's holding your LM hash.
Right. So
Right. Copy that.
I'm
from the
not
SAM.
used to the whole IPTV thing.
Right. This is
I
a
don't
new
know how
medium.
it works,
Yeah.
But so yeah, you navigate to the right directory where your sam.ini file, which is the file that holds that hash, all the hashes for your user accounts and their passwords, and then you can simply copy that onto like a USB drive
Or FTP
I almost
up
said floppy
somewhere.
disk.
USB floppy drive.
You're going to FTP it somewhere, and then use another computer to Rainbow Crack it. So if the password is too strong for something like OffCrack, then you can use Knoppix to pull that file off, take it to another file, and then do some real hardcore cracking with like rainbow tables,
Right.
or some full tables, or submit it to plain text or rainbow crack.
Right. And something that I use all the time in my job, where it's not just, I don't really need to know what the password is, I just need to be able to get in. It's okay if I just reset the password. What I really love is this program called the Offline NT Password and Registry Editor Bootable CD. I know that's a mouthful, and so is the URL.
Wait,
so
could
it's
you
at the
say that
bottom of the
again?
screen.
I missed it.
It's the Offline NT Password and Registry Editor Bootable CD.
Ah, that's different from the offline password and registry something else.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
mocking me now.
Right.
Okay, so the URL is at the bottom of the screen. This is an awesome tool where basically you can make yourself a bootable CD where it's not going to recover your password, it's not going to crack your password. However, it will let you overwrite the password. So like if I forgot my administrator password on an Exchange 2003 server, I could pop this in the server, boot it up, and reset the password so that I could log in.
You know,
Cup-
why didn't we just mention this first? Because this would have avoided the whole legality issue and just answered Bobby's questions.
There's no legality issues. If he wants to maybe
Maybe he wants to recover that
you know what?
exact password.
That exact password.
that
He doesn't
wanted.
want to change it. No,
Right.
he wants